You know that saying, you had one fucking job? Well, yeah. Animators, you had one fucking job! Like, oh my god, how did you fuck this up? Jesus H. Christ. Anyways, I'm Keen947, aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to the Wolf Podcast. We'll be talking about the 12th episode of Persona 5 the animation. I found the place where I belong. Holy shit, I fumbled that not only because of that fuck up, but also because I hiccuped. With me today is...
Hello everyone, I am D. McCombie, Steampunk 3000.
Hey everyone, this is FlOrangey.
Hey everyone, this is Mario Fanboy 15, aka that guy that wants, aka that guy that hopes Cole and Dean aren't sleep deprived this time.
Kind of. I know Cole has a headache.
Oh, this headache is not going away, so let's just move on. And if I start to sound like I've completely forgotten half my train of thought, you know why.
Alright.
I'm a little tired as well, but, I'm, muscling through because, it's my own fault.
It shouldn't be as, let's just say fun as it was a few days ago.
Oh,
no one still has stolen my heart after that, so yeah, I think I'm doing fine.
Oh, brother.
Yay!
So anyways, before we get started, any kind of comparisons we make to the game and animation are purely done for analytical reasons. And to give a short synopsis, this is actually, it completely goes against what I thought, and it's actually the end of the Kaneshiro arc, where we flip between the group basically like dealing with their daily lives while also dealing with the palace itself, and even actually stealing Kaneshiro's treasure, which nicely nicely transitions us into what's going to be happening next, which doesn't really give us a hint to what's the next arc, but it lets us know what might be happening next and at the end of the episode, so,
And unlike episodes 4 and episodes 8, this one is not garbage.
Yeah, we actually liked it.
Yeah, they actually got an ending for an arc right, though unfortunately that still means the animation is 1 for 3, and that's not a good track record right now.
They got 4 more.
Yeah, pretty much.
4 more in 12 episodes. Oh.
And I didn't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Shut up, Zach. Anyways, Dean, give your general thoughts.
General thoughts. I really enjoyed this one. This was kind of like this weird little mix between like a side arc episode mixed with plot important episode, which I found to be a very unique mix to come up with for this one. Because it actually also shows that they do pace themselves in between palaces rather than just, oh, we're doing it all in one day.
Yeah, like we got to see them doing just daily life stuff while also doing the palace, like with us getting a follow up to the track team still practicing and such, even Ryuji like interacting with them and seeing how they're doing.
Oh, Ren, you don't need to hang out with him more. You already maxed him out.
Hey, you gotta boost up that HP and SP, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. And hell, we even get to see like Ren hanging out with Makoto at the arcade.
Oh, that... I never thought I would want to have seen Makoto trying to play Time Crisis, but my god, that was amazing.
Though they cut it close with the palace, because as Makoto said when they were leaving the arcade, apparently she only had 3 days left to get the money.
Man, they were relaxed. Like, super relaxed with this one.
I don't think
I know there's taking your time, but guys, you're cutting a bit too close there.
Well, then again, I think we can all agree, at least on this, that Kaneshiro's Palace was indicated to have one of the most state-of-the-art security systems. At least,
Yeah.
And remember, cognitive world, so of course it's gonna.
Yeah, and it's one of the longer palaces, I feel, aside from one that's going on in the future. So it makes sense that this one would have probably taken them a bit longer to actually do.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Although what I'm surprised with is that Ren was actually able to establish a confidant with Makoto before he beat the palace. I really wish I could have done that.
Someone sounds salty.
Yeah, I know,
cheating.
right?
Fucking cheater.
Ren found the event skip mod.
Oh, fucking cheater. Come on. How about wait like the rest of us? All right, I'm good. Cool.
Oh Lord, this episode. I love this one to pieces, to be honest, because I loved and wow, English. Apparently, my train of thought has already fallen to the wayside.
Rip.
It already took off.
Just that Superman gif that Cole's train of thought just like flying over it, like. I'm going to hell.
Okay, well, I think I'll just say right here that the one thing I loved the most about this episode was not just the stuff that was how we see everyone becoming so much closer to each other, and also how that affects how they're going through the palaces. And also just occasionally those random little moments like Ryuji and Yusuke being the reason Ren has a TV, and then telling him, oh, by the way, you owe us.
No, not even that, not even that. They literally said that they made him pay it.
Yeah, they put it on his
Oh my
tab.
god.
Yeah,
it's on his tab.
yeah, they put it on Ren's tab, and he's just like, what?
And then it's just like, oh.
His disappointed look completed it.
I guess they don't earn that much money in the palaces.
Either that or EY just doesn't want to pay for all the crap.
Well, that or, they do actually get money, but they spend most of it on the Phantom Thieves stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that Takemi stuff does not come cheap. That was by the time that you actually get the accessories.
Just imagine, like, the money that they used to buy the TV, that was like, okay, this will be my money so I can get something to eat tomorrow. We bought it a TV with it. God damn it.
Well, I see someone's not getting their SB adhesive through.
Oh, we're horrible.
Oh, please. He
And-
doesn't need an SP adhesive. He needs an HP one.
and Ryuichi would be that type to spend his money on just. Well, him and Yusuke would spend money on bullshit.
I do love that though. That literally the way that the TV is set up in the room is because Yusuke's like, oh, it'll look better in this direction. Well, he's not wrong, I guess.
He's not wrong.
The disappointment.
Oh my god, it's Cole. You were
But
saying,
it's like those moments just completely made the episode for me. Like things like the TV scene, see the running and then Ryuji running up to his track mates in general, and also the scene with Makoto and An, and and then contrasting back to when they're exploring the palace and how they came up with the baton pass.
yeah.
Oh, that baton pass was pretty great, honestly.
An and Makoto are pretty much the ultimate tag team.
Yes.
Yeah, like the way they did that, the way they teamed up reminds me of P4 Golden, where certain allies will team up with each other for super attacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love how our main characters are pretty much scared of them now.
Wouldn't you?
Come on, that was pretty threatening.
Yeah.
The combine of the fire attacks and the nuclear.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I suppose that means Makoto is Yukiko and An is Chie.
Cool with this.
I heard that you're okay with this.
I am cool with this.
This is fine. This is fine.
This is fine.
This
is
fine.
Uh,
Oh my god.
don't watch this episode with your shipping goggles.
Don't.
All right, so you done?
Well,
Because it's like, so where will you take me next? How about my room?
Oh.
Cole, go to the corner.
No. Oh.
Hey, Cole, I now ship An and Makoto.
Zachary, go to the corner.
I'm actually okay with that.
Both of y'all go to the fucking corner.
Go to the other corner.
No, I will never go to the corner.
Oh my god. This podcast is going out of control, and we're only 10 minutes in.
You're welcome.
Oh my
Well, I'm here, so what do you expect?
I love having the shipping goggles on.
Oh, madre de Dios. Why do I deal with you people?
Because you love us.
I'm beginning to question that. Anyways, Cole, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah,
Let's see. What else is there? Let's see. We got the baton pass. We have On's unnecessary poses. We have Kaneshira's rap.
Oh.
Yo. Well, I think we could talk more about that in the comparisons.
And English. All the
Yo!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I do
I
have a
thought
bit.
that was fucking goofy in the original game, and never did I think that the anime would make it even goofier.
They did. They found a
The
way.
anime just indulges in it so much, and it just swings it back into glorious.
Especially how he dances. Like, yo.
I especially love before he transforms. He's just rubbing his hands really fast, and it's like and you hear the record.
I just love, in general, how the music was handled in this episode, too, to be honest.
It was, dude, that remix of Life Will Change. Holy shit.
And also, should we talk more about this in the comparisons?
I don't think that is a comparison, honestly, dude. That's
Okay.
That's something new, specific for the anime.
Okay, fine. I'll just say right here. Yes, they answered my common complaints I've been talking about in this podcast. We finally have music remixes. Woo!
And they finally name dropped Caroline and Justine.
Yeah, at fucking long last, and we're like, what, 12 episodes in?
We're already halfway, so...
We're halfway in, and only now we actually know the names of the Velvet Root lollies. Come on.
Okay, here's the thing.
Stop it.
Here's the thing. I'm happy and pissed at the same time. I'm happy because, yay, we finally have the names. But I'm pissed because it's just like, it took you this long to give them names, and they weren't even properly introduced.
But the one thing I like is that they did this during their own confidency, because, like, that is, like, I know that's a comparison or whatever, but I think I could say it right quick. Basically, the line of dialogue and otherwise they were using was during the Strength Arcana.
It took 3 months for Ren to learn their names.
No.
Because considering the timeline, we're now in July.
Yeah.
Well, Cole, don't you know, when they're just talking to him, they just casually mention their names to him as if he should already know their names.
Anyways, I think now Zachary's been giving his thoughts and opinions.
That's perfectly fine.
Is there anything else you want to add, Zachary?
Yeah. Yes. There's one thing I do want to add. It's a small detail, but I love the way the episode opens, and I love the way it ends with it's shots in the investigation room.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Once again, episode 12 does something that episode 8 fucked up.
Oh yeah, with the actual interrogation scenes actually making sense.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And the one thing I like though is one of the lines that Ren says is something that I wish was fucking said in the game. Like the way he says that Kaneshiro was just trying to find a place that he belongs, and he can empathize with that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I'm like, yeah, he probably could, honestly. As much of a fucking asshole Kaneshiro is, you can't really completely go against his mindset. He just wanted to find some place that he belonged in.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't help either that apparently from Kaneshiro's backstory, which I think we got more in the game, he apparently grew up in poverty.
Yeah, well, then again, he does say that in the anime slightly.
Yeah, it was hinted at, and there were like some of the minor dialogue and where he doesn't want to go back to that life, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Zachary, anything else you want to add before I say anything?
I was trying to say, wasn't Makoto also trying to place to belong or something?
Yep.
Yeah, that was interesting, and how it's like the villain and her can actually relate in that regard. I never drew that comparison until the anime actually showed that.
The only difference is methodology and morality. Kaneshiro felt like he found this place to belong once he started gaining money, whereas Makoto found her place. Well, here's the problem. Both of them did bad things to get to where they were, but the difference is what they do with it. I think that's the important thing. Is Makoto, in order for her to get to the Phantom Thieves, she had to do things that would otherwise conflict with her moral standing. Same thing with Kaneshiro. The only difference is that Makoto took this chance that she was given into the right way, whereas Kaneshiro took it in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One other thing I should say about the episode. This is kind of a minor thing, but there was actually two. There was actually two things I spotted where basically the part where Kaneshiro says, damn it, don't think I'm a pushover, yo. When he says that, his mouth doesn't move.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, this episode is filled with animation errors. Like this one right here. Like, seriously, animators, you had one fucking job!
Yeah,
Ren is floating.
What thing?
Someone,
I gained the ability to float in between episodes.
Ren turned on no clip.
Oh.
There's also another bit when they're about to go to the palace again after they send the calling cards, where he says, we're certainly fired up, but yet his mouth doesn't move as well. Just like,
I also noticed more than a few times where Ren seems to have a bit of lazy eye in him, and his eyes are just so unfocused.
Yeah, I do notice that as
Yeah.
well.
I think it's safe to assume where all the animation budget went into this episode.
Yeah,
Anne's butt.
Oh.
go home. Yeah, which into the hype as hell fight against Kaneshiro. Which, do you mind if I give my thoughts now, Zachary?
Yeah, you can give your thoughts now. That was the hype of shit.
That was the Here's the thing. I said this to Zachary, and I think I've said this to Cole as well. This episode was on super fast forward. Like, I would dare say this episode was on a faster fast forward than the first episode. But unlike the first episode, it's not a detriment to this episode. The way they fast forwarded, they put in scenes and clips that work together. It's like we get scenes of the palace, then we get scenes of them taking it easy. We get another scene of the palace, we get another scene of them taking it easy. It's like they interchange these clips consistently, which allows the fast forward nature to work. So instead of taking 2 episodes to get through this palace, it only took 1. And I really do like that they do make it clear that the passage of time is happening, because they were given a 3-week time limit, and by the time, Ren and Makoto hang out at the arcade, she literally talks about that Kaneshiro gave her one final warning, saying she's got 3 days left.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of goes to show that, 1, they took a while with that place, and 2, they're cutting it really fine. But I do like that because, again, cognition. His cognition is, no one can steal from my bank. It has the best security in the world. And it's like, yeah, if your cognition believes that, then it's going to be fucking difficult to get through. Same way how in the game there's the cheater that you can't hit him because he cheats. He's untouchable. And so
Ren's a cheater?
What?
What?
Is Ren a cheater?
Shut up.
What? Oh.
Shut up. But that's what I mean. Like, the boss itself was hype as hell, especially that team baton pass. Just every member baton passing.
And that remix of Life Will Change.
Yeah,
I have to admit, seeing the team baton pass actually sort of brought me to remembering the Daybreakers.
It did for me as well, because they did a somewhat similar thing with the quest that they had to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, they did an all-out attack on the fucking Piggytron.
And then Makoto punched it.
That's the point they should have put in the line. That's no Aikido. That's straight up ass whooping.
Yeah.
Justice has prevailed in the background.
Yes, I know, right? Just like the Piggytron blowing up and just put justice has prevailed.
The fist of justice.
Also, is it just me, or did it seem like they played like a more slowed down version of Blooming Villain?
It's a more techno remix, from what I've heard from it.
And it works.
How appropriate considering Kaneshiro's rap.
Exactly, it works. But anyways,
another thing I noticed when it goes to the computer screen, you see like donuts on the side, and the name is called Melting Donut.
Oh my god!
So it melts? Well, no
What?
shit.
But anyways,
What?
Yeah, it's called Melting Donut.
Anyways, all that aside, this actually does bring us over to the differences and comparisons, and really, to put it simply, this episode doesn't have that many.
I'm trying to think
The
of
only
one.
noticeable one was the one Dean mentioned earlier about Ren turning on cheat codes to hang out with Makoto early.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, because you can't hang out with Makoto until after the palace is said and done. Here, it actually works within the context of the story because Makoto's just trying to learn more about like what's going on with the school and such, but they're just like they don't really they really can't connect with her because Makoto isn't as socially able as as she tries to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can't have the baton pass with Makoto until then as well, so
Right.
Ren's a cheater.
cheating.
Mhm.
Ren is fucking cheating. The twist is that it's a new game plus.
But another thing that I like
But
is that
even then, she wouldn't have baton pass because you still need to open her confidant.
Right. So
Yeah.
he is just cheating.
but along with that, another difference that I did notice is the way they handled Kanashiro's weakness. Every palace they've had the palace Shadow's weakness being exploited. For Kanashiro, at least in the game, it was thrown an expensive item. Here, burn his fucking money.
This
Yeah,
is a change I absolutely love. I'm not even going to deny it. It's perfect It's a perfect adaptation to displace whatever the word is.
Yeah, because as soon as he burned the money,
Spice
he
it
stopped
up.
trying to roll them over. He's like, "What did you do?"
And then they just kicked his ass.
Yeah, exactly. Like
And he
he's
tries to save his money.
God, I have to admit, maybe just teeny bit disappointed that they didn't take advantage of Ren taking the final hit and showing a new persona. It's just new again.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
want
yeah.
but you want to know what? I'm pretty sure we'll probably see new personas in the next few episodes because, again, Ren is finally doing the strength arcana.
Yep.
Yeah, so gonna rack up those sweet benefits.
Well, I'm gonna have a prediction. I'm gonna have a prediction here. I have a feeling Ren's gonna max out that strength. The strength one, and he's gonna max out like towards the end of the anime.
Oh, that's gonna happen no matter what, and I can't really go
Yeah.
into further detail because of spoilers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like those are heavy spoilers, so I can't say shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But the other important thing, we
Mm.
finally got the mention of the man in the black mask.
Finally, like we
Yeah,
finally.
fucking finally.
But that's a good difference I like, where we're actually seeing him watching the battle unfold through the security cameras. That was a cool little touch.
Mm-hmm. That was a nice touch. Still annoyed that he wasn't mentioned earlier.
To be honest, I don't mind this because now it being like the third palace, it's like now the Phantom Thieves are starting to get famous. Like they're starting to become well known. So yeah, it probably would make sense that another this mysterious target will probably start like taking notice of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that the mention was at least more reasonable here because at least with Kanashiro, they were able to kind of talk with him about like who is this man in the black mask and possibly and how it could relate to the Phantom Thieves in some way. So I think that it's better here.
And he literally tells them to avoid him, that their power is nothing compared to that person's.
Unless you have Rongda.
Oh.
Oh my god, but still, it's like, yeah, there really isn't that many differences in this episode, quite honestly, because as much as...
The only other difference I can think of is, as we brought up earlier, they somehow made Kanashiro's rapping even more over the top.
Yeah, they did. They did that, and... Damn, I really am struggling, because... I really am struggling to figure... Oh, yeah! Oh, I got one. The apology that An and Makoto did. It was it was on their way to school instead of in the student council room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was handled on the side of the road instead.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
And
it's
it was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the kick-ass together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think it's safe to say... Do you think it's safe to say out of all the episodes, this probably has the least amount of differences?
Definitely. The
least amount of differences, and yet they still managed to make it flow a bit better in comparison with like other episodes.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
definitely.
this episode was on fast forward, but it wasn't a detriment to this episode. I can't say a difference is the way they handled the structure of the story, because That's Persona. Literally, like, one day you'll be going through the palace, next few days you'll probably be hanging out with friends, then you'll get more done, then you'll do some more casual stuff. It's like, that's the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whoever put this episode together really knew the source material well, and I just love to pieces how we have that contrast with everyone getting to know each other better, and them also fighting as a team a lot better.
And
yeah,
exactly. It's like, again the scene with Ryuji and Yusuke buying Ren a TV, though, then making him pay for it.
dicks.
Well, that is a difference from the game, where in the game you have to buy the TV.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna buy me a TV? You should have at least gotten me a good one.
I know, right?
Oh.
Well, then,
That was CRT.
yeah, I know. It even has a built-in DVD, and I just love how they put it on this tab, and they just show the store they bought it from.
So I can't wait for them to also buy Ren a video game console, and I was just saying that they're putting that on his tab as well.
Honestly,
Oh no, that's gonna be.
Man.
Oh
Uh-oh.
shit!
God damn it, Cole!
Yay, I'm not
God
the
damn
only
it! Ah!
I'm sorry.
Have fun editing this, Nelson.
I know, I feel bad.
You do! I was talking about
As soon as
this
she said, she's just
earlier.
like, oh shit.
Yeah, because I was talking to her about this earlier, about how Dean did it 3 times now, and how you made the mistake.
I'm sorry. As much as I keep saying Makoto is best girl, the other one is best character.
Oh.
Well, thanks for
Hey, Cole.
better, Cole.
Hey, Cole, I think Dean is rubbing off on you.
Before anyone worries, I'm not mad. I'm just kind of like...
I know you aren't.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
Shit, I forgot what I was gonna freaking say.
Oh, fuck.
Something about game consoles.
Dude, I know, I wouldn't be surprised to get the game console from this specific person, but then there's also the laptop that happens later, so...
Oh.
Yeah, with the best cameo ever.
Okay, I think we're done with the differences and comparisons, because there really isn't that many, as I said. This episode played it... Go ahead.
All right. One other thing I want to say, and even though this episode has been, months and months in advance, it's been done far ahead. The fact that I addressed not one but 2 of my common complaints about this anime, it's just like, did the animators hear me and decide to address my 2 common complaints? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the animators are totally watching the Wolf podcast.
I
Yeah.
know.
If they were...
We're that famous.
We're like the Phantom Thieves.
Oh my god.
We're as famous as the Phantom Thieves.
Oh, god dang it.
Hey
Anyways.
guys, you ready for the Wolf podcast meeting?
Oh my god. Just watch us do that at a convention one day.
Someday.
But it's a super secretive podcast. Oh wait.
Oh, fucking hell. Anyways, I think we can now move on to the final part of this video, which is this a good episode for fans and general watchers? Dean, take us off.
Alright, shit. Okay, for general watchers, I think they will likely enjoy this episode, because if you weren't really that impressed with any of the shadow fights for this episode, this probably is the best episode that both really exemplifies the game as well as what Persona 5 can do, especially with the shadow fight and how like personal life actually does work out very well. In fact, I just remembered what I was going to mention. This is exactly how I wanted Persona 4 anime to handle basically the balance between shadow life and regular life. And I'm finally glad Persona 5 actually did something like that.
Yeah, because didn't Persona 4's animation just handle the entire area in one go, like in one episode?
Yeah, they only focus on like one area at a time, and if they wanted to do like a Social Link episode, it's usually handled either as its own episode, or they combine like certain events with each other.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was one of the problems I had with 4 animation.
Yeah, and I think Persona 5 actually does have a good handle on it, which for fans, they might appreciate that, especially because the way that they're actually able to handle the mix between the two is a good representation of the games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cole?
Oh, Dean already did both casual and fans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, I think casual watchers are genuinely going to enjoy this episode. I think if they're kind of like on the fence on whether they want to keep watching it or start or drop it, this episode will probably be the one to tell them, yes, keep going. There is a lot of promise in this anime. It's just taking a little bit of time to actually get there.
If Rapping Kanashiro doesn't convince you, I don't know what will.
Rapping Kanashiro is glorious.
If the team baton pass plus that all-out attack and Makoto basically punching the shit out of a gigantic mechanical pig.
Oh yeah, that's right. The all-out attack did return in this episode, sort of.
Yeah, fine. It didn't conclude with the whole end screen, but at least it was there.
And then we
so-
got Makoto just punching the shit out of the pig.
which
I
was
approve.
epic.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think casual watchers, this will probably be the episode that brings them back if they were starting to float away from the anime. Persona 5 fans, they're going to love this episode to pieces.
Mhm.
Because it's especially if they're like me and they have the Renkira Magoto shipping goggles. Because I'm just reading way too much into that arcade scene. I will openly admit it.
Gosh dang it, Cole.
God damn it, Cole.
What?
Oh, well, in that case, Cole, I should also read too much into Ren and On as well in my shipping goggles.
Go ahead, mister, I dare ya.
Yeah,
But-
where? I'd like to see it.
When Alan takes the rose petal off of Ren.
Please, there was more on Makoto in this anime than Ren on at this point.
Yeah.
But joking
Well-
aside, I really think that fans are going to like this episode. They're going to like the balance from between the palace and the mundane life. They're going to like how this is probably one of the first episodes I feel like everyone feels like a genuine team,
Mhm.
and I think they're going to love it.
Definitely.
Yeah, which I do like out of this anime because from this episode because it actually does show that there are things that they do on the side, especially with among team members, rather than just focusing on Ren only.
Ryuji and Yusuke just buying the television is beautiful.
Yeah. It makes them out. It does make them out to be like it does show their friendship more and more, even though they made Ren pay it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Fix.
Some
Yeah.
friends you
But
are.
I do like that. I do like how there is interaction between Ryuji and Yusuke because outside of story moments, we really don't get an idea of if these people are actually hanging out with each other outside of the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah.
Which was always a problem I had with Persona 5 the game, and less so with other Persona games like 4, for instance, where we had so much little slice of life stuff that you could sort of get an idea that these people probably hang out with each other when they're not doing
Even
stuff.
like here's the thing, Persona
Mhm.
3 got this perfectly because whenever you went back to the dormitories, you would see a lot of the group around, and hell, many of them interacted with each other. Like the funniest, like one of the parts that made me laugh is literally when Yukari tries to make Koromaru eat burnt food and absolutely despises it, and Junpei's just there laughing.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is one thing I will say that I love about Persona 3, how because everyone's pretty much around that dorm area, there is a lot of more organic interaction, which is just sort of missing in the other games because everyone else is just standing around who knows where.
Yeah, that's like as much as I do like Persona 4, it's like a lot of the stuff is like either isn't really clarified or just among cliques, like Yukiko and Chie and Teddy and Yosuke. So
Or
you don't see
Yosuke
like much
and
of a common-
occasionally Daisuke and Ken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on occasion like that. You normally only see like those kinds of hangouts in Persona 5 just when you just so happen to hang out with the right people at the right time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like hanging out with Ryuji and then running into Mishima, or hanging out with Ryuji going fishing and then running into Kawakami.
Or
Apparently she's a
hanging
fishing
out
god.
with Yusuke and hanging out with Mishima and running into Yusuke just being Yusuke.
And then,
Sorry.
or hanging out, I think, with Oya, and then running into Hifumi. No, it's Chihaya. Running into Chihaya and hanging out with Chihaya, and then running into Hifumi.
don't think I've
Oh,
seen
hanging
that.
out with Makoto or running into Hifumi.
Yeah.
That one.
That one. I'm an idiot.
Mhm.
But yeah. Anyways, Zachary, you're what do you think?
For general watchers, I think they'll get a good kick out of this. I think they'll absolutely like it. Though I think at one point, as I said last week, they're just gonna look at rapping Kaneshiro and be like, I can't believe I was imitated by this guy last episode.
I think that's the best part. Is that last episode people weren't intimidated by Kaneshiro. Now they're just looking at him like, I was intimidated by this fuckboy.
So speaking of Kaneshiro,
Kaneshiro is a fuckboy.
oh, can I just say, speaking of Kaneshiro, can I just say how weird it felt to see Kaneshiro on the TV and him being in different clothes for once?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Yeah, we do see that where literally they show Kaneshiro being arrested.
Yeah, but not his expression changing. He still has that stone cold expression that he normally had.
I think his hair was a different color too, actually.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think it was more black.
Must dyed it.
Yeah, probably because remember, black is a common color in Japan, and any other color is seen as, unnatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, that would actually make sense because it's related to mafia and all that, so it probably makes sense.
I mean, Ryuji dyes his hair. Like his hair is naturally
Yeah.
black according to Kawakami.
And apparently, from what Ryuji said, An also got crap for her having naturally blonde hair.
Yeah, but she's part American, so...
Well, 1/4.
Yeah,
1/4.
1/4.
But
yeah.
apparently, in Japanese schools, they'll still try to encourage people to dye their hair black.
Yeah, because black is seen as the norm. Is seen as the norm, like the natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd
Sweet,
be,
I'm normal in Japan.
I'd probably be the same, but then again, my hair is jet black, so.
Yeah.
Mine is light enough to not be. Mine is brown, but dark enough probably to get a pass.
Welcome to the Wolf Podcast, where we talk about hair color.
Anyways, Zachary.
Yeah. As for Vince personified, I think I absolutely dig this episode. And they'll also get a big kick out of it. It's especially gushing over the big fight scene, rapping Kaneshiro, and all the other characters and team. But they'll love everything about this episode. And there's one thing I will say, I'm so looking forward to next week's episode.
Yeah, definitely. As for me, yes, I do think general watchers are really gonna love this episode, primarily because it's a nice little ending to the Kaneshiro arc, and I think they're gonna get a massive chuckle out of rapping Kaneshiro and the fucking Pikitron, just like...
Yo.
Exactly. They're gonna get a massive chuckle out of all that, but I think they'll also like some of the smaller bits, like the devil is in the detail, and the small little details that they put in this episode are really freaking good. As for fans, I really feel like they will like this as well. I really feel like they're going to enjoy this one as well, because again, I feel like this episode, above any other episode of the animation so far, captures the essence and feel of the game far better than any other episode so far. Like, the back and forth between the palace and the real world, actually seeing the group interact with each other, actually feeling like a unit. Like, you're actually starting to see the camaraderie with the group, which is good. That's what the game showed as well, but we're seeing more smaller details that help us believe that not only are they a coordinated group, but they're also a great group of friends. Again, I can just imagine fucking Ryuji convincing Yusuke to get involved in, Yusuke literally even asks, why did you ask me to carry the TV? I do get a chuckle out of that. And then them just setting up the TV in his room and Yusuke literally, trying to figure out the right aesthetical, placement for it.
Oh, Nelson. And speaking of going ghost, man, Sotra has disappeared for the past few days, hasn't he?
Well, I won't say anything, but hopefully he'll be showing up some more in the next few episodes, because we all know what's coming up next.
Yep.
we all know what's coming up next. But anyways, I think that's going to be the end of it, and I think this is our shortest podcast because it's almost 40 minutes.
Oh.
Holy shit.
A new record.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
no.
Yeah, this is small. I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not.
Yeah,
Well-
you know what? You know why that is? Probably it has to do with the fact there was barely any comparisons to make.
And not to mention, we're getting a lot better at this.
Yeah,
what-
and honestly, I've noticed actually, with some exception, that usually when there's an episode we like, there's a lot less to talk about. I mean, at this point, I'm looking at my notes, and the only thing I can think of randomly bringing up is the fact that Kobayakawa looks like a fucking troll in his one appearance in this episode.
Though I still like the scene where Makoto literally is like, oh, if you disagree with what I say, then you can, you reinvestigate it. But as for me, I'm resigning. I just love that. Like, I do feel like the game handled that scene a little more strongly because he tries to threaten her with, I was just off the phone with a prestigious college, and it's like, about that, I'll be getting into a college by my own merits. Like, literally her just literally her just telling him, I don't need your help. Bye.
It's like, see ya.
Exactly. But anyways, with that said, what did you think about our thoughts of the episode? Do you have a different? Did you find a comparison that we didn't talk about? Have a different opinion compared to us? Go ahead and leave your comments down below, and we'll discuss it in the comment section. Oh boy, the next episode's gonna be a doozy because we all know what's coming up next. Oh man, one
Please
word.
have the church scene.
Please have the church scene.
Yes.
Church scene.
If the church scene is on the next episode 13 is the worst of the entire series. Right now, I'm saying it.
Wait,
Considering it's number 13.
Yeah,
Number
so-
13 is the traitor.
Yeah, our seems not like a number.
Oh, fucking hell.
Who
Anyways,
knows? Who knows? This might somehow be the worst episode ever.
please don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Keenan47, aka Wolfkeen, along with...
I am DM Comics, just DM Phone 3000.
I am FlOrangey, and good job, A1. You did something right, but then you also had Ren floating in midair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, one fucking job!
Yeah, you fucked
Whoops.
up your animation.
I also fucked up my transition. Zachary?
And this has been Marty Fanboy 15, and please have the church scene. Please have the church scene. Also, have the boat scene. That would be funny as well.
Oh, yeah, I have the boat scene too.
Yes, the boat scene.
Love comes in all forms.
Oh
So-
my.
Oh my.
Till next time, guys. Take care.